Do you think, with self-driving cars and everything, everyone starts getting comfortable with that? They'll start flying planes commercially without pilots?
Yeah, I think it's all part of the social engineering that has to happen for that whole dynamic to go on. When people get used to jumping in a driverless car every day, they're going to be a lot less thoughtful about jumping in an airplane that's pilotless. I think that will take a little longer, of course, but...
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been cleared for takeoff. You are now flying high with Travis Lamance.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to the Flight Deck episode of Flying High. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We're going to recap 2025 and talk about what's exciting and coming up in 2026. So, Mr. Dubb, what was good for you in 25?
We're back at it. Well, starting this podcast has been a lot of fun.
It's been awesome.
Already, man. Yeah, it's cool to just reconnect and see what it is that you've been doing, what you built since we used to hang out back in the day, and getting introduced to the whole aviation industry. Got to meet some cool people and hear some cool stories, and been to some cool places already, and excited to see where this goes in the upcoming year. And
never had a bad day hanging out on a private jet.
That's true. I think you'd have to try pretty hard.
Yeah.
For sure. You've never had a bad day on a...
I don't think so. I don't know if you can.
You've been working on one?
I've had some bad days. Let's be real.
That's my stress relief to go work on one, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Do you still go out and turn wrenches from time to time?
It's pretty rare I get to anymore. I wish I could more often, but legit, like when it was my day-to-day job, of course, it got mundane like everything else. But nowadays, if I get to go work on one for a minute, I'm like stoked. I'm like, hey, I remember how to do this. Got to go blow all the dirt off my toolbox and all that. But
so if we put you, the veteran, against the top 40 under 40 over here,
I'm smoking him.
Oh snap!
I've been just looking at my computer and diagnosing.
Yeah. I would pay to see that, though. I think, what if we did like a showdown? Like, how often does the same thing need to be done to two?
It'd be hard to do it on an actual airplane, but like at a lot of the airplane conferences and stuff, they do like a challenge where they set up like a safety wiring station, a troubleshooting station, and like these, and then they time how fast and how good a quality you do each station, and like
we should totally do this. Let's get Nick to set up some centers, like 3 centers, right?
Yeah.
So that it'd be like best 2 out of 3 wins, right?
Yeah.
And then y'all go head to head.
Bring a cable gun, smoke them on the safety wire.
You ain't allowed to get no cable gun.
I don't even know what a cable gun is.
There's a whole backstory about cable guns. He's trying to fire me up now.
Are you able to share? Or
I don't even remember all the details. I just have PTSD about the word cable gun now, so I don't remember it. It was something about back in my day. We didn't ever use a damn cable gun. We safety wired everything, and we had some techs at one point that wanted a cable gun because, to explain what that is, whenever you're safety wiring like any bolts, nuts, almost anything like that on an airplane, you use safety wire to secure them so that they don't rattle loose or come loose on the airplane. So to do that, you just get a strip of safety wire and you put it through there, and you have these specialized pliers that spin the wire to connect to the next one, and so on and so forth. It's kind of a aviation like pride thing, like how badass my safety wire is, and how good can I do it, how fast can I do it right, and not wiring shit backwards, all that kind of stuff. Well, they also have this other thing out there where it's got like a lead thing put on the end of a cable, and it's kind of a braided metal cable, and so you put it through there, and then you just route it around wherever you want it, and then you put this gun on there, and it stretches it all tight, and then puts a lock on the end of it. So far more efficient for a lot of applications, because a lot of places really hard to reach and get in there and do the safety wire. So it does have its place in certain applications, but a lot of these guys were wanting it just to like do all their safety wire. And me being the one responsible for the checkbook, that's far more expensive than just regular safety wire. So it started as kind of a math equation of is it cheaper to pay them a little bit more time to safety wire it, or pay them a little less time for more expensive method, but making them faster. And when it's used correctly, it's a really good thing, actually. But they just got to bitching and whining about it so much, I just said, nobody better buy a fucking cable gun anywhere around here. I don't want to see one in the shop. And it just became a point of principle at that point. And I can't remember. Somebody ended up buying one of their own off of eBay or something, or we wound up with one in the shop, and I didn't buy it. They all harass me relentlessly about cable guns now. Every time they walk by me with a cable gun, they're like,
Nice.
yeah, it's pretty
You a
funny.
big cable gun guy?
I don't use one that often, but there's a couple applications I can think of that are well worth the investment.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be fun. We got to figure out what would be on
Top
the line.
40
though.
under 40 using a cable gun. Must have been a rigged boat, man.
Only on a reversing valve on a hawker. I'll
Yeah.
get you. Spend a couple hours trying to put a piece of safety wire on that.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds terribly frustrating.
It is.
Forgot my cowboy hat. Just realized.
Dude, you're out of uniform.
I know. Lucky hat is not compliant with the flying high. Head apparel.
More and more of them popping up around here all the time. We had a big company meeting yesterday, and there was quite a few of them rocking around in there. I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I saw it. I mean, everybody knew you by that at the NBAA. So
Yeah, it's
rock the trademark, man.
not a common look in our business. If you know, like most people are in very professional attire, and
boring.
It takes a long time to build a reputation that you can get away with looking how I look.
Yeah.
Because they look at, what the hell's this hillbilly doing, you know, and people that know me and know I'm very professional and do shit right, but whether we like it or not, books get judged by their cover all the time, and it's easy to make assumptions. But now it's to the point where if I need to go incognito somewhere, I just throw on a ball cap. No one knows who I am. So there's a lot of days I'd rather not be rocking it, but it's kind of a trademark thing now. You know, it's what I'm known by most people in the industry now.
Yeah.
Take a cowboy hat over a tie any day.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I tried the suit and tie avenue. It was not my cup of tea.
Oh man, it's the worst.
Yeah.
When I went to college, I had to wear a tie to class because it was like a independent college, super strict dress codes and stuff. And then got out of that, and I was like, no more.
No,
I ended up working in the UN and government a lot.
Had to wear them there. Yeah.
I had this suit and boot up, and my daughter would always call it my government costume. Put on your government costume. Accurate.
Government costume.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man, I share your distaste for ties, Chris. That's for sure.
We couldn't tell with the leisure suit you're usually rocking.
Adidas, man, they nailed it.
Wiley wore a like something similar, like sweatpants, sweatshirt thing to school yesterday, and I started calling him Leisure Suit Larry. And he had no idea who that was. You probably don't know who that is.
I have no idea.
But there was this old video game, and there was this guy named Leisure Suit Larry on there, and whatever. So I kept calling him Larry all day. He was not impressed.
Oh my goodness. So my grandfather, when he got super old, like in the 80s, I think he like found him at a garage sale or something. But it was all monochromatic and different colors, but they were like the velour jumpsuits. And that's like all he would rock every day. And so like, you know, some of the grandsons started like making a joke about it, you know, behind the scenes. And then one of my cousins bought him like a little gold chain. And dude, he started wearing it. So my grandfather started looking like an old Italian grandfather, you know. Hilarious.
That's good. What happened for you in 25? What was fun?
I think what was fun to see was the growth. We just had a team that has excelled and all got together and just made such an impact in the maintenance facilities.
Yeah.
It's pretty inspiring to see.
It was fun. We added a lot of people to the team, and almost 100% growth again this year, so that was pretty awesome. We just about a couple years, a little over 100%, and this year right close to 100% again, so
3 years in a row.
Going good, yeah.
How much of achieving like that level of expansion and growth is dependent upon expansion versus just scaling up what you already have, if that even makes sense?
Yeah, there does. We actually talk about it internally. There's scale and there's scaling. So there's scale is maximizing your existing manpower, facilities, systems, processes, efficiencies, trying to get everything you already have to its maximum scale. And then scaling is outward growth, adding new locations, adding new verticals, new revenue lines, that kind of stuff. And we're working on both simultaneously. There's a certain amount of it that comes from internal scale. We're getting pretty close to maximum internal scale in a few areas. So to hit the kind of numbers we want to hit and get where we want to go, we have to maximize internal scale, but we also have to go after scaling methodologies and, doing some roll-ups on other maintenance facilities and adding, now that we got this FBO up and going and getting all our systems and processes dialed in, next step on that, next evolution of that is to go find some additional FBOs to do roll-ups with and perpetually adding more aircraft to the charter certificate. It's that core piece is all built, has all the core functionality, so that one is simply adding more aircraft to it as we go. So there's a bunch of different angles to go on it, and going into 26, that's a few things that I'm super excited about. Is we're adding another division, and a lot of it's stuff we already do. We're just formalizing it into a product we can talk about, and that deal is called RIFLE, is the acronym for it. It stands for Real Estate, Insurance, Finance, Legal, and Estates, because we really want to be the one stop for an owner or a potential owner, for them to be able to just come in and, hey, I want an airplane, but I don't have time and energy to mess with it. I just need a trusted person that can deal with it all. And us being really intimate with it, we know a lot of the outside factors that fall through the cracks for them a lot. So if we're dealing with their real estate, if they're not a owner and they need an aircraft, depending on the situation, but most of the time they're going to need a hangar to put it in. Then you've got to evaluate, do I want to go lease? What airport do I want to put it at? Do I want to build? Do I want to buy? What do I want to do for storing my aircraft? So you have a guy that can afford the type of aircraft we're operating. He doesn't want to take the time to go and negotiate a lease with the airport and
Right.
all that. So we do that all, with communication with them, but on their behalf, doing that and making sure they're getting a fair market value, they're getting fair terms, all that kind of stuff. Same thing on the insurance. We already do a lot of it, but we're rolling it all into this package together where, whether it's just on their aircraft, on their evaluating how any potential conflicts between their life insurance and their aircraft operations might be affected, and if they have like key man policies, if they're affected. So there's some things unique to private aviation you just got to watch for and make sure they don't have any weird, you can't fly private aviation clauses kind of thing in there, and just helping them evaluate that. Yeah. So, and it usually by the time you're into the aircraft categories that we're talking about, it doesn't usually apply. It's usually for smaller, like owner flown piston engine airplanes and stuff, but it's still something you got to check the box on, make sure you're not putting them in a bad position. Financing, a lot of these guys just pay cash for the aircraft because a lot of them are just going after the accelerated depreciation anyway. But there are quite a few also that don't want to tie up all their cash in it. They want to find a good economical financing solution. So we go work with funding partners that specialize in aviation financing and bring them deals and saying, here's your 3 options on how you can go about doing that. And so we go do all the legwork, chase all that down instead of them doing it. And we have the connections and relationships with those people to make it a lot easier for us to expedite that process. And then on the legal side, there's always, the purchase agreements, the lease agreements, the any kind of contracts between staff and labor and that kind of stuff. Unique legal issues in different states, because not all states treat each aviation component the same on between property tax, sales tax, employment taxes, all that, it's state by state. On the estate side, working with family offices to give them an outlet on professional grade place where they can go and accomplish all those same things for the estate planning and succession planning, all that kind of stuff. We can work with them on that. And we are not lawyers, and we are not licensed insurance brokers. We're not claiming to be. All we're doing is being the liaison between all these people and using our relationships to help them make it a simple process for them. So our whole mission is, doesn't matter what it is related to the aviation sector of their life, they have one person over here they can call and get it resolved. So I'm excited to get that piece rolled out, because that kind of packages it all together in a nice little bundle. And then we're working on some really cool custom AI stuff for aviation that we're going to be rolling out an MVP on here in the next couple of months, and then building off of that. And that sector is growing really aggressively, and aviation has a ton of opportunities to optimize for that, because we are dealing with manpower shortages, and so instead of just leaving our customers underserved, we're figuring out ways to optimize using AI to supplement our employees and make the processes work better, and also be able to provide that eventually as a third-party SaaS platform that other people in aviation can leverage to their advantage as well. So lots of fun stuff I'm excited about coming up.
Yeah, no doubt. Why do you think that the aviation industry ended up with such a manpower shortage? Like, where was the ball dropped? It seems like a great career, especially for a young person starting out. Like, why do you think it's so far off the radar, upcoming workforce's minds?
I don't know that there's a few things. For one, it's not a big sector relative to a lot of other industries, so I think it doesn't get enough publicity as an option. Like right here in Amarillo, we have a really good A&P school through our community college, so you can go to school right here and learn how to get a license and start working on aircraft. But hardly anybody in town knows about it right here. Right. And so I think the awareness is just too low for one thing, so I think we need to bring a lot more awareness to it being an option. The other thing is aviation's really slow to keep up with trends, mostly be a little bit of dogma of this is how we've always done it kind of attitude that drives me crazy. I'm constantly fighting dogma, and that's a big problem that we got to break down. But to be fair, a piece of that dogma exists because it's so safety sensitive. They want something really thoroughly vetted out, proven, 100% ironclad before they sign off on it, if it's related to flying the aircraft, working on the aircraft kind of thing. So because of that slow technology adoption, aviation always runs a little ways behind the curve. And where that shows up in the workforce is a lot of times you can go work on a car in a car dealership as a technician for them and make more money out of the gate than you can to go work on an airplane.
Oh, wow.
And so why would you take all the stress and liability of going to work on an airplane when you can go and do it on a car, a lot lower stress, a lot lower risk, a lot lower liability for more money? So aviation in the long run, it catches up and you can do better in a long window on a career. But when you're talking to an 18-year-old kid, it's like, dude, I just need to make some money. It's hard to get them to look at a 10-year horizon on it, and there's a lot of aviation companies out there there's not very many that give a shit about company culture, I guess is what I would say. You're just kind of another cog in the wheel, and they care less if you're there or not. They don't know you, they don't know your family, they don't know anything about you. It's not very people oriented. In a lot of places, there's getting to be a lot more that are looking at it the way we do, and looking at it as a people business, and understanding how important the people in the machine are. And so I think it's getting better and it's trending the right way, but it's definitely not where it needs to be. And the pilot shortages get a lot of attention, and they've been very real, but it seems to have a lot more peaks and valleys to it. It's a little rougher because whenever the airlines are really busy, they can pay way more money than the private aviation sector can. So when they get really busy, they suck all the people that have anywhere near enough hours up to them and take the resources away from the corporate aviation. They get slow, they lay a bunch of people off, and then they all go scrambling looking for jobs in corporate aviation, and there's kind of this cycle of that happens. And it runs on a shortage as well, but it's shorter time horizons, I guess. The maintenance technician problem has just been trending the wrong direction for a long time. I don't have all the exact data memorized on it, but the industry as a whole is growing year over year. The talent pool in the aviation technician is shrinking year over year. The replacement rate's not nearly high enough. And then because these places get understaffed, they're asking guys to work more hours, more stress on them to get things done. So they just get fed up with it, and then they bail and go to another industry. So, and then the average age of the aircraft technicians is moving upwards pretty persistently. So a lot of them are retiring out on the top end before you get enough guys replacing them on the bottom end. And then the other unintended consequence we got going on is a lot of the aircraft that are still out there flying and operating were built in the 80s and early 90s, and now you have kids that are getting their A&P and going to work that were born after these aircraft were made, right?
Right.
So the technology gap between then and now, and so you go put a 20-year-old kid on an airplane that has technology from 1985 in it. He's like, what the hell is this? He only knows digital things, and so the guys that know those systems that got really good at them when they came out, they're all retirement age and they're all leaving. So we're losing a lot of critical knowledge out of the community. My biggest concern with it is that it's going to cause an increase in aviation accidents, decreasing safety, because there's just not enough people that have good, strong knowledge on those older systems. So the only short-term fix I know of is augmenting processes and things that can be done by AI to give those guys more time to have hands on the things that a human has to do. As part of our industry, there is a lot of paperwork, a lot of research, a lot of sitting behind a computer, not working on an airplane. We have to maintain oversight of those things, but there's a lot of it that it can go do the initial work, and then you're just re-inspecting what it did, and cut your time from spending an hour on it to spending 10 minutes on it. So
Nice.
Maximizes your time out there. And then whenever you get into it on the flight planning and scheduling, it's really good at optimizing routes and optimizing fuel stops and recommending ways to be more efficient in the operations side as well. So, and then things like just sending out a flight quote, like manually doing that versus an AI doing that. When the AI is trained correctly, it can do it faster and more accurately. Whenever you are building an invoice, there's not a safety sensitive thing there. There's still a quality control thing there to make sure you're billing correctly, but there's not a safety sensitive thing there. And that kind of data compiling stuff, AI, when it's tuned and trained properly, can do a better job than a human anyway.
Is there a specific AI platform that you prefer when it comes to the aviation industry that just tends to pull from better sources, or?
Not really. They all have their strengths and weaknesses from what I found on them. To me, what it really comes down to is if you're using it for a unique purpose, it's in how you train it and what expectations you have set for it. Just using generic AIs that are out there, the GPTs that are out there, you go to chat for one thing and get a better outcome, and Grok will give you a better outcome on something else, and Gemini will give you something better. They all have their pros and cons, and they're all in a war with each other right now to be the best and the top dogs, so they're constantly evolving and changing. And so about the time you think, oh, I need this one for this and this one for this, they release an update. Now it's flip-flopped, and now that one's better, and that one. So it's just kind of a constant dance. But I believe 2026 is going to be a really big year for AI, and I think a lot of people are finally going to get their eyes open to what's going on with it. And I'm optimistic about the long-term use of AI, but I'm a little bit pessimistic about the short-term, because I think so many people are going to get caught off guard, don't realize how fast that train's coming down the tracks, and they're going to be stuck flat-footed and not know how to use it, not know where their career's going, not know where they're not going to know how they fit into the machine anymore. So I think it's going to sow some chaos and stuff for a little while people readjust to it. But long term, I think it's an excellent thing for humanity in general. I think it's going to be really good for business, but I do think it's going to have some short term, 2 or 3 years are probably going to be pretty chaotic because of it. And 10 years from now, I think everyone's going to be in a much better place for it. That's my take on it.
This episode is brought to you by Haven ASG. Looking to buy your first private aircraft or upgrade your current bird? Travis and the team at Haven Aviation Services Group has you covered. From finding the jet of your dreams to selling your old model, our expert brokerage teams handle every detail, connecting you to the right deal for the right aircraft every time. Visit havenasg.com/flyinghigh today for your custom experience to begin. Again, that's havenasg.com/flyinghigh, or just click the link in the show notes. Now back to the show.
I don't know. What do you guys got going in 26 that's going to be, are you excited about?
I'm excited about the growth and the opportunities that we have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we can turn over and make happen this year.
Well, and we got you in a new role and got you kind of fish out of water a little bit right now with moving you from the strictly maintenance related world to where now you're more in the business world, and you're apprenticing with me to learn how to broker and how to build business pieces and all that. Is that how are you liking that?
And I always love learning new stuff. I mean, it's gets frustrating because just what you don't know, but just the opportunity to learn it and do it is great. It's very, very, very awesome. Just to know that I'm going to have that for future endeavors.
Yeah, it's been fun watching. There's a lot of that you just kind of take for granted that, you've been, after you do something for a long time, you forget the things that you didn't know at one point in time, and so you start having someone asking you those questions, and it brings that up, and I'm like, I remember that. I remember the first time I ran into that. It's funny.
Because sometimes you're like, man, this is a ridiculous question. But, and he's looking at me like it's a ridiculous question, but to me, I'm like, I have no idea the answer to this. So
should have asked AI first.
I should have, right?
Dude, we're testing our internal custom GPT for Haven right now, and I was playing around with it some this morning, and so we're tweaking and testing and tuning, and so part of that process is just putting in crazy questions that a random employee might ask and seeing what it spits out and seeing how accurate it is, and it's pretty amazing how much that's going to help our employees around the company, because what day do I get paid this month? What if my paycheck don't show up? How do I fix it? I'm missing a day. How do I request PTO? What's our policy on haircuts? What's our, just all these random questions you get from people. They're just all loaded in there, so they can just go into it and they don't have to wait around for someone to tell them. And it's pretty cool. I'm excited to get it done.
Do you have to wear a cowboy hat to work at Haven Aero?
Yes.
Dang it. I'll be back, guys. It's funny, man. There's a comedian named Pete Holmes. He has this whole bit on back in the day, you just didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that the other day because, my daughter, she was griping about some stuff at school. And I'm like, I get it. Like we had to take Algebra 1, Algebra 2. I don't know about you guys. I have never used algebra a day in my life after graduating.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, Dad, why do I need to know this? I'll just ask ChatGPT. I was like,
True.
I see where you're, you just got to look at it like you're learning how to learn, right?
Yeah.
But Pete Holmes' bit is hilarious. Just because I remember those days where you would think of something like, I wonder about this, and then you just didn't know. If you couldn't find a book in the library, you just had to wait until
you had to really want to know to find out.
Yeah.
You couldn't just have a passing thought about it.
No.
Yeah.
But I do that all the time now. I know the answer to everything I want to know.
Yeah.
It's at my fingertips. But
you got every PhD level professor in your pocket now.
Crazy.
Yeah. And the part that I caught myself doing it, so I'm trying to refrain from doing it, but people do it to me frequently now, is you're sitting there talking to them and you say something and they're like fact checking you on it as you're sitting there talking, and they're like, come on, dude.
Right.
Just have a conversation here, And
Yeah.
It's happened a couple of times, and I've done it a few times, not that I thought they were lying or anything, it's just an intriguing subject, so I'm like, oh, I want to know more about that. But it comes across like, what the hell? Yeah, so it's a different world, but I'm going through the same thing with my kids right now on, why do I need to know that? I'll just ask chat. And I'm like, well, I kind of feel the same way. I don't know why you're doing it. I don't know.
I remember the teachers back in the day were like, you're not going to have a calculator on you all the time.
Yeah, dude.
They were wrong.
Yeah. So I guess the biggest default now is if the computer shuts off, how are you going to do it?
Screwed.
Yeah. That'll probably be the least of our problems.
Facts.
I'm going to make sure they at least know how to grow food and kill an animal and milk a cow. Like sustenance at least, I guess. I don't know. It's going to be a crazy world. You can't even game theory out where it's going from here. It could go so many directions, but I think people that are dogmatic and people that are highly change resistant are going to have a rough next 5 years. I love change and evolution and moving and all that, so I'm excited about it, but I do feel like we're going to have a large percentage of the population that's going to really have it rough, because there's so many people that want the solid routine, the same way I've always done it, nothing changes. That is not the world for the next 5 years. It's going to be crazy.
How do you see that playing out as far as like the individual versus the entity? Because it's like, even if you're an individual that takes the time to understand and learn how to use AI, what if the industry you work in doesn't? Or, all of these systems that we're just plugged into in life that don't have that value, like that's going to be crazy to see
Well,
how it shakes out.
I think the entities, the companies that are resistant to using it, their employees are going to be using it de facto anyway, because the company policy is don't use ChatGPT, but they know sitting right here in their phone, they can do this problem 1,000 times faster and make their life a lot easier. They're going to do it off the record anyway and be putting it in there. And then the company's not going to benefit from the enhancement of that. So any business that doesn't have a legitimate security concern, or there are some legitimate reasons a business wouldn't want someone to do it, but they're going to have to make that really clear as the legitimate reason versus just change resistance. But generally speaking, I think anybody that's just doing it out of change resistance is going to get smoked in the industry. I mean, business is the most competitive sport on the planet, and if you're not using all the tools at your disposal, you're going to get left behind.
And there's never been a period of this type of acceleration or change, or
not even close.
So crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the rate of adoption on the automobile, and then the rate of adoption on the internet and the computer, and then the phone. Those were all, I don't remember the exact numbers, I've looked at it, but going from horse and buggy to car was, call it 40, 50 years. And then from going from the internet and computers to phones was 10 years or something like that. And then the adoption of ChatGPT in and of its own was a year. So the rate of change doesn't, all of those going through the industrial revolution from agriculture and all that, there was these long periods of time where you had a lot of time to train people, prepare people, realign their thought process of, hey, instead of working a plow, I'm going to go work on an assembly line. There was time to make those changes and get it into the school curriculum. Just watching the schools try to figure out how the hell to deal with it right now is, it's just happening so fast that our little human brains are struggling to comprehend what to do with it. And even on an individual level, if you personally comprehend what to do with it, societal change just doesn't happen that fast. So it's interesting. It's going to be wild.
Also, when you begin to think about different nations and just how far along their industry or technology is, it's there's really going to be a disparity there in how AI affects the world as well. It's going to be crazy to navigate.
There again, in my opinion, short term, advanced nations are going to have a big advantage over them, and they're going to be way ahead of them. But long term, they're going to have access to all the same technology we do, as far as they can use a phone and Starlink to access an AI system just like we can. And so over time, the value of information is going to drop to eventually zero or very close to zero. So to your point earlier, where you used to not know something, you just didn't know. And so imagine exponentially increasing that to this poor person in a third world country that doesn't even have running water or electricity, and they're like, what is that thing flying over my head? I don't know what that is. They truly didn't know. They didn't have a resource to go look it up. They had to really want to know.
Yeah.
So now, I think eventually that'll all get broke down to where there's kind of a fair playing field where everyone has access to the same technology eventually, but it'll take some time.
Yeah. And I saw that even in the time that I was working in the UN and working in a bunch of different nations, because what was the name of that the Chinese cell phone company that got busted?
Huawei or
Weiwei.
Something like that. Yeah.
Wawa. Something.
Wawa.
Anyway, we busted them with the spyware technology or whatever. So they just shipped all that technology to Africa. So, bro, I could be way out in the bush somewhere. Phones. Dude, everybody had a phone, man. It was so wild. And that occurred, I saw that happen. I would be in a place and nobody had a phone. And then 2 years later, literally everybody has a phone. It was wild, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and as long as they got a phone and a connection, they're going to have information. So that still doesn't mean
China's going to have all their information. So.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't mean they'll have the economic means to do anything with the information right out of the gate, but they'll at least know. And knowing is, the first big hurdle of knowing these things are out there. And now you can use a GPT for all this coding. With next to no cost, you can build your own piece of software with just a little bit of time and prompting and a a little thought process in it. You can build that for next to nothing, and then have a product you can put out there that can just take off and go crazy. And the other thing is the iteration speed is going to be so high. So you have an idea like, oh, it'd be cool to have a piece of software, an app, or whatever that does this. Well, you can spend an afternoon building it and then put it out there. And no one agreed with you that that was a good idea, so it doesn't take off. Well, shit, I'll do another one tomorrow, and I'll do another one tomorrow. And eventually, so now instead of the iteration rate of building something like that before was you'd have to send it to a coder, or you'd have to hire a coder and explain to them all the things you want it to do. You have to have all the capital to pay them. You get it back, it's a piece of shit, you don't like it, it's got problems, whatever, so you go back and forth. Now you launch the MVP on it, and the market don't like it. So now you just wasted $50,000 and didn't get nothing out of it. Now you got to do that for 3 months, 6 months, a year again. So, if you're launching 2 or 3 products in a year, you were doing good. Now you can launch 2 or 3 a day if you're really aggressive about it. So the chance of hitting on something that people want is a much higher. But it's also eliminating the need for a lot of products because it just does it on its own. You don't need a special, or that's another mindset shift we're going to end up getting into is, well, I need this specific software to do this thing. Well, you're not going to need that a whole lot longer. I mean, it's already getting that way where you don't need a unique piece of software and a subscription to that software for this thing. You just tell it to do it and it does it. So the agentic AI, the agents that they're doing now where they can literally go right on your computer and click and do all the stuff on your computer just like they're sitting in front of it is already evolving pretty quickly. And I don't think that step, I don't see why that would last very long because it can bypass all that and just do it. And so, I don't know. I'm certainly no expert in it, but I like to try to do my best to keep up with it, and it blows my mind every day on what it's capable of, so it's pretty wild.
Do you think one of the platforms will break away and emerge as a clear leader this year?
I don't know. It's too early to say, I think. All of them are dumping absolutely astronomical amounts of money into it to try to do that. But they're all doing it. Right. And so they still seem to be kind of in this neck and neck race on a lot of it. Personally, just for the benefit of mankind, I kind of hope Grok gets way ahead of all of them just because of the back end ideology that's programmed into it, trying to be maximally truth seeking. I think all of us have our biases, whether we recognize them or not. And it's so easy to get a bias programmed into one where all of a sudden it takes it to an extreme and really bad things come out of it. In all the tests that I've seen, Grok has pretty consistently been the most centered around facts and logic and not pushing things to the extreme one way or the other. And the others, as they evolve, they may fix that problem too. But I'm an Elon super fan, and I feel like he's got humanity's best interest in mind, and so I trust the direction he's trying to push it. So whether it wins or not, who the heck knows, but I'm in the background rooting for it.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Are you an early adopter on stuff like this, or I have to be intentional about it, or else I don't have that tendency to just grab a hold of the new and look at it.
I think I was a little bit behind at the beginning, just not knowing what I didn't know. But then after seeing what it could do, then I got way more involved in it, but not to the extent he is. He's deep. I definitely see the benefits, and I mean, it's where the world's going. I mean, there's no turning. I mean, the train's coming, like he said. So if you're not,
well, it's a lot of people are trying to avoid it, still saying they don't want to participate, or it's the devil, or it's the this, it's that. I don't care what your opinion is of it. The genie's out of the bottle, and so it's not going anywhere. So the only way that it gets pushed in the right direction is if the right people are involved with it. Because if the good people that are truly that concerned about it just stick their head in the sand, it ain't going to go the direction they want it to go. So I think it's important that everybody has the input on how it evolves from here.
What about when it comes time for the implant? Are you going to be round 1, round 2, or round 100?
I don't know. I might draw the line on that early adoption.
Really?
I don't know.
I feel like the argument you just made is 100% going to play into that because at some point it's going to be whoever has it in their head is going to be quicker.
Oh yeah,
That's the edge. So
yeah, it'll get to a point where you're not going to be competitive without it.
Yeah.
So it. I don't know. That part of it, I think, is still. I think we still have a little bit of time to figure that out. Let's see how gnarly the non-implanted version turns on us before we go stick it in our body. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Although what Elon has done with Neuralink is freaking amazing.
Gosh. Yeah, and he came out the other day and said that he's beyond doubt at this point that it can restore full functionality to like paraplegics and stuff. So.
Dude.
You talk about an amazing piece of technology right there in and of itself. And, watching the interview with that first guy that got it and how he's using it like as a shooter,
First-person
shooter, auto target stuff, and how he's smoking everybody on that. I mean, that's just a tiny little glimpse into what's going to happen with it. But like all technology, man, used the right way, used in the right mindset, it's phenomenal step up for humans. And used the wrong way, it's going to be horrific for humans. So it's all about who's in the conversation and who's in the battle to push it into a way that's good for humanity. And that, at the end of the day, I don't have a real strong opinion on it. From a lot of people want to push it into a religious talk, and I don't know that I have any real strong opinion on it from that side. But I have a strong opinion that I want humanity to be leveled up, and I want whatever's best for humanity as a whole. And so I think as long as we're going that approach, are we doing this to improve humanity, or are we doing this to hurt humanity? And that's as long as it's in the direction that and you got to be careful with the best of intentions. A lot of best of intentions turn south on you real quick, and you did a thing thinking it was going to be good for humans, and turns out to be horrific. So people a lot smarter than me have got to be involved in those conversations, understanding all the potential side effects and potential downstream problems that could evolve out of that decision making. And so I'm glad there's a lot of hella smart people working on it, because I'm just in the back watching it and consuming it and trying to know my little piece of it, but nowhere near the level I would need to be like those guys making the frontline decisions on how it goes. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomena to watch. It's kind of like when you sent me those songs you were making with AI, and it's like there's a part of me that, as an ex-professional musician who put, I don't know how many years into learning how to play and be a musician and stuff, it's like, it's going to be kind of sad to see so much of that go away. But then it's also like, when you were a musician and you created a new song, like, how cool is that experience? And now everybody gets to do that for your prompt. And it's like, does it kind of suck for professional musicians? Yes. Is it kind of cool for humanity, so that everybody that's ever thought of creating a song gets to create a song? That's pretty cool. So it's like, just got to navigate all that stuff and look for the good.
Right. And I think it's gonna cut off a lot of options for artists for selling records and songs and all that digitally, but I think it's going to drastically increase their demand for in-person, because people are always going to want human-to-human connection, in-person connection. So it's going to suck for them to have to do more in-person things, but at least the state we're at right now, you can't pay to go to a concert and watch an AI. I mean, I guess you could, but that's losing a lot of that human touch there. So I think the in-person, like stand-up comedy and musicians and performative people like that, I think they're going to see a huge influx, because there's just something you get when you're in a room like that and everyone vibing on the same thing and enjoying the same human together. And I don't foresee that going away at all. I foresee that going a lot bigger and tighter. And I mean, you're already seeing so many people bailing out on social media because it's so smashed full of AI garbage right now that people are like, there's zero connection. There was very little to begin with, and now there's none, because 35-40% of what's coming across the feed now is just some AI generated garbage and has no soul to it. And so I think we're going to see a drastic pivot in the social media world too, on how people interact with it and consume it. So
yeah, that makes sense.
We'll see. And
It's funny, people start saying things now. It's like, I've been off social media for 2 years. It's like, are we handing out tokens? Are we all getting sober from social media? Speaking of, please go to all social media platforms, like and follow the Flying High podcast. And
yeah, exactly.
are you a big social media guy?
Yeah,
Marketplace.
Marketplace.
You're a hustler, bro.
There's always some kind of deal on Marketplace.
What's your greatest flip?
I don't know.
Do you flip stuff, or are you
Yes.
just like looking for stuff?
It used to
that
be
you
a
want?
lot easier, but now everyone's so fast on it. You see a good deal, like let's say on a vehicle, it's gone within 30 minutes. You know, so you got to be pretty Johnny on the spot on that one.
Yeah.
So hasn't been as easy.
He's always buying something on there and messing with it though. He's fun.
Suburbans.
Yeah.
Man, I do. Sold my Suburban.
You did?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
sold
Oh,
bird.
snap.
I did.
Uh-huh.
How long before you get another one?
Can't.
You can't?
Nope.
Oh. Out of the suburban game.
Had
huh?
a Suburban game, man. It just cost you money.
Yeah, that's true.
It's funny watching how all that's evolving into the aviation and drone space and stuff too, because they're with them going into all these unmanned drones and unmanned aircraft and automated aircraft and all that. I think it's going to be pretty wild. What do you think? What do you think Elon was hinting at on this Roadster deal?
Man, I don't know.
He was hinting pretty heavy that the Roadster might fly.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he made a flying Roadster, dude? But then the other day he said he had another deal he was on, and he said it'll be the very best of the last human-driven cars made. Because he's convinced it's got like the last human-driven car that's going to be produced. So I don't know if he meant from Tesla or in general, but he's sure hyping it up. He's a good hype man, though.
He is a good hype man.
So I
Yeah.
don't know what to expect, but
Sometimes he's a little early on that.
oh yeah, he starts talking about it when it's still on a sheet of paper, you know.
Bro.
Have you guys ever rode in one of those cars that don't have a driver yet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Waymo.
Yeah, I've not. That sounds like an experience itself, just knowing that there's no one in control but a...
It was weird, but I will say this. So my wife and I did it when we were in Austin last time, just for the novelty of it. And, dude, real talk, it drove better than 98% of the Uber drivers I've ever had. It was great. Super smooth,
Yeah.
super safe. You don't have to, like, am I going to have an awkward conversation with this
Yeah.
individual? Like, I loved it.
yeah.
Did it ask you for a tip when you got...
Another
I got
great
one question here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with an Uber driver in South Carolina one time. She was supposed to be driving me from the airport to this hotel. So she pulls up and I get in and she starts driving like a lunatic. And I start talking to her. I figure out pretty quick she's messed up. She's methed out or something, like jacked up. So we get up to a stoplight about 4 blocks from the airport, and we get to the stoplight. I just bailed out of the car, dude. I just got out. I was like, no, we're not doing this. Yeah.
I'm dying today.
Yeah. Dude, that was... I've had some weird ones, but that one was like the first time I was legitimately scared. Usually it's just annoying they suck at driving, but
Right.
that was the first one like, I'm going to die in this car. I'm getting out of this. No way. I won't miss that.
No.
Do you think, with self-driving cars and everything, everyone starts getting comfortable with that? They'll start flying planes commercially without pilots?
Yeah, I think it's all part of the social engineering that has to happen for that whole dynamic to go on. When people get used to jumping in a driverless car every day, they're going to be a lot less thoughtful about jumping in an airplane that's pilotless. I think that will take a little longer, of course, but
Speaking of the social engineering, can you mention like what happened on our last
Oh, yeah.
flight? You know,
yeah, we were on our way back from Miami or wherever we were the other day, and we were getting ready to start descending into Houston, and there was a real low cloud layer, and it was kind of fogged in. And the pilot comes on, and normally they boost themselves up about, I got this, guys, we're gonna be all right. He comes over the speaker and he says, hey, the ceiling's really low, it's fogged in pretty good, so we're gonna let the airplane land itself on auto land today. And like, I was blown away. I was like, I don't know, I haven't heard it again yet, so I don't know if that's an intentional seed planting thing or if it was a pilot being a smartass. I don't know what the deal is yet, but I'm clued in on it now. I want to find out if the airlines are starting to drop this new language into the prompting, so people are like, oh, it's auto land, no big deal.
right?
But I do foresee them starting to do a lot of that because social acceptance is going to be the slow piece of the whole thing, not the technology. The technology technically can already do it right now. It's going to be just making sure that all the safety stuff's met. But all that'll happen before the social acceptance. So I do think we're going to start hearing a lot more things like that where they're referencing only having autopilot or auto land, or because I think we're a lot closer to just having, because right now in an airline you have to have 2 pilots, 2 crew members up front. I think step 1 is they're going to go down to 1 crew member and 1 automated crew member, and they'll do that for a while, and then eventually no crew member. But that, that might take 20 years. Who knows? I don't know how long that process will take, but I think that's the evolution we'll see. But I do think they're going to start planting a lot more seeds about not having control of the airplane. Pretty wild, though. It was bizarre to hear, wasn't it? It caught our attention. I was like, what the hell?
Because the story has always been the pilot handles the takeoff and the landing, and then keeps an eye on the autopilot the rest of the time. So that was what made you feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was weird to hear him surrender his. But
we're gonna let the airplane.
I mean, after using the Waymo, I was like, kind of makes sense that as long as nothing goes wrong, it's gonna do better than a human would.
And the feedback and stuff that I've read on it is the Tesla version of the automated driving is a lot more accurate and better than the Waymo, and the Waymo's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
But like, what was that in San Francisco where they had the big power outage a couple of weeks ago, and all the Waymo cabs just stopped right where they were at, and the Teslas kept cruising around. So I don't know. I haven't been in a Tesla automatic, cyber cab or whatever they call it, but I have been in a few of the Waymos, and it wasn't scary at all. It was just like, I liked it cruising. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of years with all this stuff going on, and see where it all goes. The industry as a whole is going to have big evolution in it. So
I think what's wild is people not realizing how many jobs can get taken in the next, few years. So many people, you start talking about this, everyone goes, "Oh, no one can take this job. No one can take my job here. No one can take this. I'm blue," especially from the blue collar people. No one can take this.
Right.
And they're wrong.
They are so wrong.
Dubb stumped me on one the other day. We play this game all the time.
It took me weeks, for the record.
He was convinced there were jobs that were protected, and so he'd bring it up, and I would, no.
He would text me back, no. don't, bro, I have the evidence on my phone. He didn't come with an explanation. It was just,
Yeah, there was probably no explanation. Just to know. What was it the other day that you came up with that was a
UFC fighter?
Was that the one that stumped me?
Yeah, because then you were like, no, they already have robots fighting. And I was like, yeah, nobody watches that crap.
I'm the only one watching BattleBots.
Yeah.
I thought it was a dancer or something, like a Broadway performer or something.
You told me no on that one, although it's true, and I stand by it.
I still think that one's a no.
Dude, like live musical theater? You just said earlier that like...
The main characters definitely need to be human. But all those people doing all the shit back there behind them, I don't care what they are. So it depends, I guess. We got to get more granular on, are we talking about the main performer, or are we talking about the background noise?
It just sounds like he doesn't want to be wrong.
If you think about how fast everything's advancing, that main performer, you might not even be able to tell sooner or later that it is not.
It is weird.
Flesh and blood human.
I thought I was wrong once, but I was just mistaken.
This guy. Okay, Chuck Norris.
Oh, we got a couple more guests booked that's coming up, so I'm excited about that.
More episodes coming your way, my friends.
We'll get to, after the holidays here, get back on schedule and get our routine going again, and get them a guest episode dropped every couple of weeks. And
yes, sir.
And they're blessed with our pretty faces every other week. So
your pretty face. I'm behind the camera. So.
Yeah. All right, guys.
I don't have a cowboy hat.
Yeah, exactly. You get a hat, you get camera time. That's
the
rule. Well, thank you guys for tuning in and checking us out. Please go like, follow, subscribe, all the things. You got any questions, any topics you want to hear about, please comment on there, send us a DM, ask about it, and we'll figure out a way to work it into the show. Have a good day.